Hello and welcome to the Big Build. I'm obviously not Robin Clevett, I am Ed. And today in this episode we're installing an oak beam before we start plasterboarding. We've got another oak beam in the old room which we are going to mirror. This one is actually fake. Well, it's oak, but it's not a solid beam. It's been mitre folded and made to look like a real beam, but it's actually a really good job they've done on that.
What's it covering up, Ed?
It is covering up a steel going across there. Yeah, for the old floor. Well, that's the extension actually.
Yeah.
So
this is the oldest part, isn't it?
yes, this is the old piggery with the really super thick walls. You see the reveals, the walls are super thick. So they just built the house inside it. But we're gonna, get this beam up. I'll show you outside.
So what do I have to do? While you're getting that beam ready, you're going to show us me. What have I got to do?
Well, what you've got to do is you've got to notch out these blocks up here. We put these in to put the wall plates on top to close the cavity.
Yeah.
So we need one notch out there, please.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be bearing on across all the joists. And then it's going to end here and bear over here on this side. We've worked out across all the joists, it'll be roughly taking 11 kilos. So actually, in terms of the whole run, it's not taking much at all, end to end.
Yeah, so each joist is going to be sharing the load. So how are we going to fix it?
So once it's bared on either side, and fix it to each joist, we've got some nice Spax stainless steel screws. I think they're 100mm, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of size. And that will just keep it all straight. But we're also going to rebate the top of the oak beam. So when we plasterboard in, if the oak does ever move, it's got that space to do it and it's not going to crack the plasterboard, and then we can cork it and it will give a really nice finish. So the saw is set up for that. I'm just about to do that now. So this is the oak beam here. It's a really beautiful bit of timber. I've got the saw set up to do the rebate on top. We've put one of our longer fences on. So it's just a standard fence with a bit of timber added on extra. And that's to make sure the cut's straighter, because I find these fences are a bit short. So as you're cutting, you're kind of following such a small margin. So with a longer fence, it's a lot easier, and a cut, the veiny edges, you can get caught. So we're going to do that. We are rebating, the plasterboard we're using is 15mm. This is just the test I did earlier. And as you see, the plasterboard fits into there nicely, and the blade width is the gap that's going to leave us. So once they're plastered and we've corked it, it'll be a nice finish, and they'll have space to room to move, sorry. So yeah, we're going to cut that now. 2 in the top, finish planing and sanding and making this look beautiful. We're going for a rustic look, so it's not going to be immaculate, as in square all round, but it'll look nice and rustic and fit in really well to the building.
You're a bit too tall for this job.
I know.
Are you going to try that light?
Yeah, so this is the new light the good folks at the Tava gave us.
Yeah, it looks pretty nifty.
Ooh.
I need a light on in here because it's a little bit on the dark side. So is it battery?
Battery and mains.
Okay, so how do you decide?
Whatever, if you've got a charged battery, then
There's one there.
battery.
There's a nice one there. There's a super duper battery there.
There we go. Nice.
Alright. Now what?
And now,
It looks amazing actually. Put it in the corner for me. So like illuminate the whole room. God, that's a nice light as well, isn't it?
10,000
Lumens.
lumens.
I never know what a lumen is.
Yeah, I think that's full whack.
That's a nice light. It's a little bit like.
The lowest, lowest setting.
All right, so that's right. So if I stand back, that's it. That's on full.
That's full bang.
Turn it off. Oh yeah, turn it on. It's quite nice, isn't it?
That's very nice.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to use that. See how long the battery lasts in it, because obviously it's going to use up a lot of power, and I'm going to get that cut out.
do the job nicely, that will.
Yep, that looks like a nice couple of rebates there. Show us how the plasterboard works into that, Ed.
Yeah. So the plasterboard, this is attached to the ceiling here.
Yeah, that's
across
against
the
the top.
joist. Plasterboard will run in there nicely.
Oh
We've
yeah,
got
that
a
looks
bit
nice.
of gap on the top.
Yeah.
So when we have corking and ready.
Yeah, that looks absolutely amazing, doesn't it? Yeah. And to anyone, you know, I mean, if you'd have just butted the plasterboard, chuck that bit of board here a minute.
Yeah.
If you'd have butted that board against the side, the chances are this is going to move all over the place. It's going to dry, it's going to crack. You're forever going to be having a crack between the plaster and the timber, sort of here and here. You're always going to be having a crack from the underside here. Here we go, from under there. At least this way, by dropping it in your slot, you've got a proper recess there. So your skimming can come up and bleed into there as well. And if it does crack in the future, it's just a matter of scraping that with a knife and corking it with some cork.
I was just going to quickly mention about the benefits of the fence that we added. When you're cutting live timber like this, obviously there's bits coming in and out and undulation, and there was bits here that were completely missing. So the benefit of having a wider and longer fence means if I've missed a bit, if a bit of timber's missing, I've got way more grounds to catch it, and it's made the job a whole lot easier and a lot more accurate. So if you're going to do something like that, I definitely recommend just knocking up a fence, so a bit of an offcut.
And you've attached it to the metal fence that came with the saw?
Yeah, the fence comes with a saw and it has 2 holes in it already. So yeah, literally just a matter of, we've also, as I'll add, we've brought the fence closer to the top of the saw, so there's less of a chance of it slipping off. Sometimes with this one it's about 6 mil below the factory fences, so we've just made it a mil below the bottom of the saw, the foot of the saw, and wider and longer. So it's made that job a whole lot easier and saved.
It's something that I believe in. I've been doing this for years. If you often see some of my old video, you'll see that we use a C9U2 or C9U3 with that exact thing on it. It's well worth doing. Nice one, Ed. You get on and clean that up, get it all planed up.
Yep, and then we'll get it in the slot.
While Ed's out there doing the beam, you can hear him soaring away like mad. He's forming those rebates in the top, and then he's going to use a plane and just take off some of that sort of dark stained, the sides that have been out exposed to the atmosphere, if you like, while it was in the wood mill or the yard. And I'm going to get on up here and just cut out this. As I said earlier, we need to set this out. So we want the beam running in the middle. It's purely decorative, like Ed said. It's going to be connected to every single one of these joists. If you divide the weight of the beam in its current state, which is the moistest it's ever going to be, it's only going to get lighter as it gets older, as it dries out. We've worked out that each joist will be carrying around about 11 kilograms extra than what it's doing already. So to give you an idea, I would say that the flooring above is around about 10 kilos per square metre. So it's effectively like having a double floorboard over the top. And people don't hesitate in putting floors on floors on floors. So I know for a fact it will be absolutely perfect. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take a measurement between this steel and this plasterwork over here. That's the centre. I also know that my joists over are parallel from one side to the other, and they're square to the wall plates. So once I've worked out where my centre is, I'm going to make that parallel to my wall plates. Therefore, it's nice and sort of geometrically correct when we plasterboard. So I'm going to get on. I've got to take out a little pocket there. We don't need to sit over the wall much. It's more of a token gesture so he doesn't see it like just against the wall. We're going to go in there about 150 millimeters and sit over the other side the same. Let's see if we can get a measurement here. Put them there. And let's start with the measurement back to that steel. when I'm using these electronic tapes, I often measure 2 or 3 times, because what it's doing is giving me a reading. In this case, we've got, this Bosch one has a really nice sighting camera. You can actually see the target, if you like. So when I'm actually focusing in on something, you can see the target. I won't press the button because obviously I'll lose my measurements. But so I've measured it twice. It's 4.4 meters or thereabouts. So we're 2.2 to the center. So if I just rock up here, mark that up from where I measured to, 2.2 here. So we're exactly underneath here. I mark that up. That is where we want our beam. Just check that. 2.2. So that's where we want to be. That's the center of our beam. Our beam is 150 or 6 inches wide. I think it's a bit more than that. Could you check that, Ed?
I will check that, yeah.
I'll get Ed to go and check that out and to check what that is. I think it's 175 or 7 inches, so I think we're going to be having to take out a bit of that and a bit of that, which is unfortunate, and it's the same by the height, so we need to get down to there.
Just over 7 inches, 180 mil.
180, fine, okay, so I thought it was roughly that, so we're going to go 100 that way, and we're going to go 100 that way just to be on the safe side. Now I've got to come all the way down there and get that right out, because it is about the same height, isn't it? So I've got to get right down to there, so we'll get through that mortar, through this mortar, cut through this, and break those in the middle, which is going to be a bit interesting, but we can manage. We've got all the tools ever invented, I would say. So that's it, let's get on and do that right away. Okay, so pocket's cut and Ed's just getting the beam ready. What we're going to do is reduce it, so when we push it over the top of this beam, we can then slide it back into its housing, if you like, up there. That'll be lovely. Now we've got to get it through this window. We have to put some timber on this sill here so we don't ruin this plastic window. We're also going to have to get my van out of the way there. Ed's out there, he's just cutting a little pocket. There we go. Let me just try and get there. Just so it doesn't jam with the block bearing that is sitting on over there. We'll then have to drill a series of holes. So a pilot hole in this position, straight through, boom, to a line. We'll do it to a laser line. That will take one Weirrock screw, a Spax Weirrock screw, a structural screw, just to hold the oak up against the ceiling. And as I say, each of these joists is carrying at the moment, it'll be about 11 kilograms, and the oak beam will only get drier and lighter as it gets older because it's green at the moment. Right, all right, Ed. I reckon if we position one of these rollers on this side, so we get the window open as much as we can, we'll pull the roller out so we can get it onto there. Let's go a bit more. I think what we'll have to be careful of is, just because it's quite a weight, is just making sure it's nice and sturdy. I'll get one on the inside and then we'll take the beam in. Right, let's get this other roller in. So what we need to do is sort of get it set up on the inside here, just so we can share the weight until Ed and I can sort of position ourselves to come in. So we'll both start on the outside. We'll ease it onto that roller out there. We'll make sure it's level and across the top. So my one wants to come up a little bit, really, just to get up to there. And then we'll carry it in, run it on the rollers, put it on the deck, underneath where it's going to go. We'll have to start with it on an angle, lift it up into the pocket. We'll have to remove this festoon lighting out of the way because it's in the way, and get it in. So I'm going to drill a line of screws straight down the laser. So let's go for it. So the screws I'm going to put through those pilot holes are like a Spax, they're a Wirox screw, so they're not going to have any effect in the oak. The oak is not going to corrode them, they won't go black and all the rest of it. They're a really nice screw, and basically they're going to pass through the joist, there we go, they're going to pass through the joist and fix down into the oak, and they'll be absolutely lovely. So you're just going to have to shepherd it in. Come round square, that's good. Try to get it on the middle of that roller, try not to stand on it. Yeah? You on the centre? Try not to stand on the actual... Yeah? Shepherd it in. You're on the middle of the roller. Have a look. No, that's what the problem is. Go inside now, Ed. Go inside, because it'll be... Yeah, if you're on the middle, it'll be... Keep going. Keep going, another foot. That's it. That's it, fine. Rest. Again. Keep your end down, because when you lift mine, it pulls that beam. Yeah. Just a tiny bit more. That's it. Right, I'm going to pull the block out here, if you can do that.
Yep.
We're in. We're in?
Yeah, have you moved this trestle back to me a bit?
What? Yeah.
How far in?
Well, we want to basically get it sitting on the trestle so the weight hangs downwards overnight.
Yep.
Yeah. So this trestle wants to be right back here. That's it. And this one we'll pull over to here, and we'll walk the end right over. Yeah. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. And rest. Brilliant. If we just spread these trestles out as far as we can, the beam bends up a little bit, and then overnight, under its own weight, it can settle. That's it.
It's a lot warmer in here than it is outside.
Yeah, it'd be lovely, wouldn't it? Yeah, and these rebates will work a treat, won't they? Yeah, do that one as well. That's it. Fingers. Brilliant. Got it.
Yep.
That's it. Brilliant. Excellent. So that's it. We'll put that in the morning. Job's a good one. Okay. We're going to lift this beam in. We've made a stand at one end, which we'll show you when we turn the camera around. We're going to get one end of the beam up over there. It's going to rest there. We've put this in here. Come through, Gary.
Oh, so you filmed?
No, come through. Man's got to get on. You might not get around that way.
Oh, yeah.
You might have to go right around the outside. We've put this bit of grounds here to make sure that this timber here, which is like a breastable, it's more like a sort of a timber lint, if you like, that it doesn't move. Because if we pivot that on the corner of there, we put about 80, 90 kilos of weight, and it wants to move, it could be unsafe. So that's why we've got this bit of timber here holding everything together. Then on this end, we've got a frame, we'll show you that in a minute. We're just going to put the borer spin horses at one end because they're a little bit stronger and taller than what we've got. That's much better, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's alright. Yeah, that's locked off. And then we're ready to rock. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right, if I lift the beam for us, we'll swap them over.
I'll have to be on push.
Yeah, you want to take that on the other, I'll pass it over to you.
Give me that over there.
That's it. So that's a bit more, I mean that's probably less likely to fall over that one there. It's still going to be iffy, because when we get up to like this, it's going to be the angle of the fulcrum, we might want to pull this over.
Yeah.
But we're a lot closer to being up the right height now, so.
See what makes me do. We get that one onto the ladder and then adjust that end.
Yeah, we could do that actually, yeah. Why don't we do that? Well, we can't adjust any more than that, that's as far as we can go with anything taller than that without making something.
Yeah, but just relieve it. Once that's up, we can lift that end and just let it relax and then get there. Those heights are only miles away. We'll latch off that ladder on the top of that frame.
I know, but we can't, we've got to get into there before we
We've got to
try
get in and around.
Yeah. So from there, we still got to get over onto there and that'll still be low. So we've either got, and if we had that at that end, so we're going to all board over. So, I mean, we probably, because of this angle, it's not too bad. We could probably get that end on there, but we need to have Gary at one end and us at the other end. So we need to lift it, or Gary can make sure that stool stays and just eases it like that. We'll borrow him in a minute. Gary,
I can have that on the shoulder and stand over here.
Gary, can you give us a hand in a minute?
Slot it in then.
Right. Alright. Just ease it forward, everyone. Yeah. Alright.
Right,
It's a ladder,
Yeah.
ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. Alright, Gary?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Let's rest there.
Rest. I've got it.
Yeah. Right, now we're going to move to that end. Push it, we're going to just lift it towards that beam gently we put in. Ready? So it doesn't move itself. That's it. Now we're in control of the beam. Yeah? So on this side, we've got some scrap wood we just made into a little lightweight frame. It will easily take the load. We just go up to there, we'll slide it on there. We've got more in that wall, so we're not going to jam this wall. As we hit that wall, we can ease it that way. Yeah? The higher we go, the better we are. If we need to go up higher, we'll just put another link of 4x2 on here, and so on. Alright, so for now, let's wait this Ed goes, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect, that's it, everyone relax. That's going to look sweet, isn't it?
Yeah, man. It's beautiful.
Look at that. That's going to look sweet. Right, so I think we can just ease it over until we hit the wall and we'll ease it that way. So if I go one end and you go there, thanks Gary, you're free to go.
Well, I'll take the strain if you want to put it over.
Alright, I'm gonna stand here.
I mean, I can get that ladder.
We've got plenty this end.
Right.
Right, look at that beam, that's beautiful. It's actually dead flat now as well. You know, under it had a bow in it.
Yeah.
The fact of the back, so you can go wherever you want from it. Tell me when you hit the wall.
I'm on the wall now.
Right, so I'm going to ease up and be able to slide it back me a little bit. There you go. Now keep coming round.
Right, let me just readjust my ladder.
Yeah. Oh, this is the way to do it. Are you against the wall? Do you want to come to me or?
Ready? One and then to you, Rob.
How about that?
Yeah. Go over again.
Yeah. How's that?
Yeah, get closer to that.
Do you think before you move it, Ed,
Yeah.
you can actually take it in the direction it's going without hitting the wall? Have you got an inch or so?
No, I come back to you a bit.
Right, hold on then. I've just got to check that I've got something in the way here.
Just those cables, the only thing
I
left.
think we're alright. It's just, I've got a literally 25 mil, that's all I've got.
Yes.
Go the back to good touch.
Okay, that's fine, that's all I need.
Right,
Right.
so what we do now is get it in line,
Yeah.
and we won't try and lift in one go, we'll chock it up, alright? So get it in line. Perfect, yeah? Just check that we can actually fit on the width. Yeah, we can. Hold on Ed, we can't go in in one.
I'm just checking.
We're just going to chock it up and then slide it in.
You want to, or just lift it up?
Well, if you reckon you can.
Yeah, get in
Go
one.
straight in if we can.
Right, hold on then, tell me when.
Ready?
Go! Lovely.
Yeah, perfect. How's that? Oh my god, we like that, didn't we? Now it took us like 20 minutes to knock this frame up, but that's what made the job safe, isn't it?
Yeah, so choose, yeah.
So now we can
Thanks, Gary.
we can shim it up. We can shim it up now. Get your plasterboard. Let's see how that looks as well over the top. Yeah.
Some size.
Yeah, that's beautiful, isn't it? I mean, that is such a nice feature. A bit of oak. Such a nice feature. Yeah, let's see how it goes in.
Nice.
Yeah, so once we've jacked it up,
Got a bit to go up.
that plasterboard's gonna be absolutely. But even if that was the margin, once you've skimmed, you've got somewhere to cork.
Yeah.
You've got something to actually work to, haven't you?
You've
So
got
the
some
next,
tolerance.
yeah,
Build some
it's great.
tolerance into it.
So the next job is actually fix it up.
Woo.
Brilliant. And we've got all the screws in place. Let's try and see if I can show you that. All ready to go. So we put those in yesterday. We've got all the screws in place. There's another one there, you see. So all we're going to do now is use the acro props, prop it up, both ends, screw it, and it will be held. And as we said before, come back round here. And as we said before, each of the joists is sharing the weight of the beam. You saw it wasn't that heavy, Ed and I could easily manage it on our own with a bit of help from Gary. So Now we're just about to pack it up, make sure we've got enough shim under both ends to make sure the load is somewhere in the walls, and we'll screw it up. So, screwdriver, we need to parallel it and get it nice and true, and then we're away.
So that is it, the beam is in place. Rob's just fitting the screws now.
It's a bit tricky, I can't see much.
We've got a nice little angle bit on the driver. Not making it that much easier though.
Oh, that's perfect.
All on the joist, nicely rebated.
This bit, Ed,
Yeah.
is actually like, it's like the equivalent of an impact driver as well. So we're on a little impact driver, and it does the same job, but you just have to hang on to it, you know?
Yeah. It's good.
I'll just show you here. Oh, that is so nice.
And that's going into oak as well, so it's nothing soft.
No, and that's why we piloted those joists, because obviously we want to make sure that we bite into the oak only.
Yeah.
Otherwise you'd be fighting it, you know. Well, that's lovely. Let's get all them fixed down. I can see this one nicely here. Another advantage of wet metal web joist.
Yeah, exactly.
Lovely.
So as a carpenter, there's nothing more satisfying than having a bit of timber that was black and horrible, and then be able to make it look like that. It obviously needs a sand, you can see all the bits in it, but that...
So that's it, that's the beam in, mate. That's good, isn't it?
You happy with that?
Yeah, we're done. So that's it, we'll get this in. Have a cup of tea, we like a cup of tea.